I think one of the hardest parts about having long COVID and ME is that so many people in my life never got to meet the old me. I mean, the old Beth, her world was so big. I was traveling for work constantly. I was a senior director at a major financial institution. I was traveling for marathons, so I was constantly training, going on long runs around my country neighborhoods. I was going to major cities for big marathons. I had just run Chicago before I got sick. And I was crafting and baking and constantly looking for ways to give to friends and family. And this was such a huge part of what I was. I loved that there was unpredictability and I never knew what every day was going to look like. But in March of 2020, when I caught COVID, my world shrunk so small. I mean, first it was just the four walls of my bedroom where I was for 3 months, barely able to walk, really weak, really sick. And then when I did finally start getting out of that initial acute phase of my COVID infection, I realized I'm still not well. And as long COVID began to progress, my world stayed small. I pretty much now was confined to my home, my yard, not much else. I was petrified at first to see a medical professional because I had heard so many stories of gaslighting. I knew that people were going to doctors and they weren't being believed. And I was so scared that someone was going to invalidate my very real experience. So luckily, I was able to find a general practitioner who believed me, who validated my diagnosis, who went on to give me the diagnosis of ME and really support me in my journey into this new world of chronic illness. And while it's great that I'm being supported by my primary care doctor, the specialist I get referred out to, it's a mixed bag. A lot of them still don't believe in long COVID or post-viral illness. A lot of them are operating under some outdated conceptions around treatment plans as it relates to exercise, and they're just telling you you're deconditioned or you're anxious or you just need to push through. And there's nothing I would want more than to put myself on a very regimented marathon training schedule to dig myself out of this. But I can't because it makes me much, much sicker. But that ME diagnosis was so critical to me realizing that we're not starting from ground zero as it relates to post-viral illness and long COVID. Yes, long COVID has its own unique set of circumstances and characteristics, but there's so much to be learned from the existing body of knowledge we have on post-viral illnesses like ME/CFS. And that's what drew me to Open Medicine Foundation. They have 11 years experience facilitating research into post-viral conditions like ME, like long COVID. So I knew we weren't starting from ground zero as it relates to pursuing treatments and cures. I would give anything to be able to run again. Maybe not a marathon, but a 5K would be nice. And OMF has really given me that hope that I may be one step closer to my dream in my lifetime.